Kerry Boulton is Australia's most respected exit strategy advisor and CEO of the Exit Strategy Group. Welcome to this week's segment.
What I recommend for the first step in thinking about your exit plan is having a look at evaluating everybody's goals. So that's not only your own goals, but the goals of both of the business and the personal goals that you have in terms of when you want to exit and after you leave. The family as well. Family members should be included in the sale decisions because they're going to be impacted one way or the other. And of course your financial goals. So what's your number? Now, what I'd like to do is actually go back and address each of those areas. So as far as your business is concerned, it's asking yourself, when do I want to sell my business, or when do I want to transition my business, if it's the case of a succession plan to a family member or perhaps a management buyout. What could you do, or what do you need to do today to maximise the value of the business? And could it be sold today for a price that I could accept? And what about other stakeholders? So you really need to think deeply about what it is that everybody really wants out of the business and the sale of the business or the succession of the business. Because there's more than just one person affected. On the personal side, when do you want to exit? Is it 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 10 years? Because after you leave, how are you going to spend your days? How's your sense of self and your identity, how is it going to actually be affected? And if you don't go to work every day, what are you going to do? Now, this may seem like a pretty simplistic question, but I can tell you from my own personal experience where I've been through that, having exited one business and achieved what I wanted to do with my family, etc., over the next few years, and doing work in the community and doing a lot of voluntary charity work, I actually found myself unoccupied. I really needed to find something else to do. So those are questions you really need to dig deeply and ask yourself. What are you going to do after you exit your business? Giving yourself some time off, going around playing golf or travelling, doing all those things are absolutely fantastic, but often people run out. And there are only so many cups of coffee that you can have in the day. What about family members? Which of your family members need to be included in the sale decisions? Whether or not they're physical shareholders in the business, of course, makes no difference because they're going to be impacted whichever way you look at it. You're going to be around more than you were in the past, and so getting the families members involved in your decision-making process is really important. So there's no surprises, quite frankly. And looking at your financial goals, what's your number? How much money do you actually need to live the life you want? You want to have choices when you're out of your business, and it's really important to get a handle on whatever the number that is. How much money do you need to be able to live on to have the sort of lifestyle that you've enjoyed up until now? And of course, it's really important to take care of the legal issues and the tax issues and understand what steps you might need to take to minimise the taxes that you're going to pay in the future. So once you've identified your goals around that, the next step is actually to make sure that they're all achievable and getting them into alignment. For example, if your financial goal is to sell your business for, say, $8 million and your timing goal is to be out by your 60th birthday, they may be incompatible to be able to be achieved together. So you have to prioritise what's important. Is it more important to be out by your 60th birthday, or is it more important to achieve the price at which you'd be happy to sell your business? So the key is really deciding which goals have to be achieved and those that can really be flexible. So knowing your number, what's your number, is really, really important. Of course, there's a lot more variables and there can be outside market influences over which you have absolutely no control. But the reality is all your goals are going to need some flexibility. And just taking the time and sitting down, working through each of those areas, as I've mentioned previously, through the business goals, your personal goals, family and the financial area, will make your life much easier if you take the time and plan and align as best you can. Here's a checklist of questions that are really important for you to ask yourself. They're going to really set you on the path to maximising your personal wealth through business and creating a life full of choices after you exit. Number one, how much longer do you want to be actively involved in the business? When do you want to exit? Give yourself at least 2 years to prepare before putting your business on the market. And make sure you can produce 2 to 3 years of tax returns that are accurate and show maximum profitability to get the best price for your business. You can't start putting things together the months before you want to sell. An investment in time to prepare properly will give you the absolute highest returns. Who's going to be your likely successor if you're not around? A question I love to ask everyone is your business you-proof? One of the key value drivers and value killers in any business is what they call key person dependence. If you're the key driver in the business, the sooner that you can replace yourself, the better. Can you go off, take 3 months holiday and leave your business? What happens if you do that sort of thing? So if a buyer's concerned that a business is too dependent on the owner, or a single customer for that matter, the offer might just simply go elsewhere. A good business can operate, as I said, when the owner's on holiday, and it has good revenue diversification where no one customer represents more than 5% of the business. Maybe you have someone in your current management team who could step into the CEO role now. Give yourself time to make the transition to get yourself totally out of the business. So how do you want to exit? Have you thought about whether you want to do that over time, or do you just want to do it in one event? It's a really, really, really important consideration for you personally, because how you'll handle working in the business if you're no longer the primary decision maker is crucial. Sometimes you can seal a deal by agreeing to stay on in a consulting role for a period of, say, 6 months. But first you need to determine whether or not it's really worth it to you. If you're willing to stay on, it might reduce the risk to the buyer and increase the value of the company. So if you can do it, just take emotion out of that equation. Ensure there's a fair outcome for all parties by treating your employees and your family with the same professionalism you would external buyers. Giving yourself time to think about how you actually do want to exit and being able to negotiate that is really important. So let's ask, when should you leave your business? So, there's many, many ways that you can leave your business, but for most of us, selling it is probably what we think would be the best option. And if so, it's really likely to be the most important single financial transaction of our lives. Well, and there'll always be exceptions to that, but with most things, if you were born with great wealth, or you're a successful serial entrepreneur, or maybe you won the lottery, who knows, this won't be your single most important financial transaction. But for the 95% of us out there, there'll be only one exit from the business that we've built. And hopefully along the way, we've had a great lifestyle, you've been paid really well right throughout your journey for all of those efforts. And for many people, it's actually going to be our retirement nest egg, and it's all tied up in the business. And how much we get for it when we sell it is really important to our future. Have you ever had a bad day and, maybe thought something about along the lines of, you know what, I really don't want to do this anymore. I am tired. You have a look at your staff and you think to yourself, well, you know what, they're better off than I am. Or maybe someone's made a great suggestion and you know that it's going to kick goals and grow the business, but you think, I haven't got the energy to do that again. If you've had any of those thoughts or something similar to that and it's crossed your mind, then it really is time to start planning for the sale of your business or for your exit, one way or another. As I've said so many times to people, there are choices as far as moving on from your business is concerned. The first choice really is when you want to leave your business. The second choice is how you want to leave your business. The third choice you don't have, because one way or another, you're going to leave your business, even if it is with your boots on, as they say colloquially. But for most of us, it's going to be selling the business. And statistically, only 20% of businesses for sale will actually sell. So regrettably, 80% won't, or certainly won't realise the sort of level of payout that the business owner wants or expects. So selling your business is like selling your home. You have to do what it takes to get it ready. You have to make it presentable. You have to make it as desirable as possible to a potential purchaser. So first thing to do is consider who you're going to sell the business to. Are you looking for a strategic buyer? Have you thought about who could buy the business and make it more profitable, perhaps inside a larger business? And what about some of your stakeholders in terms of your customers or shareholders that you might need to consider? What about your key employees or your staff in general? Are they concerned about what happens as far as the business is concerned? Or maybe you're thinking about a financial buyer, or maybe your employees or could get together, or maybe there's a syndicate. All of these are questions that you really need to think about as you start your planning process.
If you don't have a copy of Kerry's new book, The Uncensored Truth About Exit Strategies, please visit freeexitstrategybook.com.au.